What happens when a nuclear-powered nation with a population of over 230 million dangles on the edge of collapse? The answer, unfortunately, is not a hypothetical one. It's the alarming reality of Pakistan today. But how did Pakistan get here? Welcome to Living History. As we cast our eyes back to the 1980s, we find Pakistan in a much different state, economically better off than even its neighbour, India. Today, however, the nation grapples with a looming energy crisis, a faltering economy, political instability, and relentless waves of terrorism. What went wrong? Well, the roots of Pakistan's current crises can be traced back to its historical context, notably its colonial and post-colonial periods. Born out of the embers of British colonial rule in 1947, Pakistan was initially part of the Indian subcontinent, an area heavily exploited and divided along religious lines by the British Empire as a tactic to maintain control. This strategy was part of the infamous Great Game, a political and diplomatic confrontation in the 19th and early 20th century between the British and Russian empires for supremacy in Central Asia. This game involved maneuvering, manipulation, and machinations that shaped the political and social landscape of the region. These colonial tactics significantly exacerbated religious and ethnic disparities, setting the stage for the partition. This partition, referring to the division of British India into two separate nations, India and Pakistan, in 1947, instigated one of history's largest mass migrations and sparked a long-standing animosity between the two countries. The tensions manifested in the conflict over the disputed territory of Kashmir, leading to multiple wars and military standoffs. Such discord distracted Pakistan from economic development, pushing it into a vicious cycle of political instability and economic vulnerability. Post-independence, Pakistan grappled with a myriad of challenges, chief among them defining its national identity in the face of immense ethnic and religious diversity. The economic consequences of partition, coupled with the constant political turmoil, severely hindered its ability to build robust institutions and establish sound economic policies. The country's economic fortunes were further compromised by its fixation on military strength, mainly due to its adversarial relationship with India. This led to a disproportionate allocation of resources towards defense, at the expense of sectors like education, health, and infrastructure development. In the early 1980s, it looked like things were finally improving. Pakistan even enjoyed a brief period of economic superiority over India, with a higher GDP per capita. However, this progress proved unsustainable due to the country's reliance on limited income sources, such as agriculture and textiles, and its failure to diversify into other sectors, like technology and services. This set the stage for the crises the country is facing today. Like a mirage in the desert, the economic prosperity of the 1980s was ephemeral. Factors that contributed to Pakistan's economic decline were manifold. Political instability, rampant corruption, and poor governance systematically eroded the foundation of the country's economic growth. The detrimental impact of such conditions manifested itself in declining industrial output, reduced foreign investment, and diminished confidence in the nation's economic stability. Moreover, the absence of significant reform in critical sectors like education, healthcare, and infrastructure development stifled Pakistan's potential for long-term sustainable growth. Fast forward to the present day, Pakistan is grappling with a severe economic crisis. This crisis is characterized by escalating inflation rates, currently hovering at a staggering 29%, exerting an unbearable burden on the common people. The trade deficit continues to widen, primarily due to over-reliance on imports, specifically in the energy sector, outstripping the value of exports. Additionally, foreign exchange reserves have seen a precipitous decline, painting a bleak picture of the nation's financial health. This economic conundrum has given rise to social unrest and political instability, further exacerbating the crisis. As inflation and unemployment soar, the masses grow increasingly discontent, leading to protests and strikes that disrupt economic activities. The political arena is fraught with uncertainties, as successive governments struggle to tackle the economic malaise, often resorting to short-term populist measures that do little to address the underlying issues. Adding another layer to Pakistan's situation, its geopolitical relevance must not be overlooked. The development of Pakistan's nuclear program, initially in response to India's nuclear test in 1974, has placed it under global scrutiny. While this has amplified its strategic importance, it has also stirred concerns about regional security and potential nuclear conflict, particularly in light of the ongoing Kashmir dispute with India. Further, Pakistan's strategic alliances with global powers such as the US and China add weight to its geopolitical significance. Historically, despite periodic strain due to differing foreign policy objectives, the US has been a major ally, providing military and economic aid. However, China's consistent support and heavy investment in Pakistan's infrastructure and energy sectors present an alternative geopolitical partnership. The shifting power dynamics globally make Pakistan's choices increasingly consequential. Positioned at the crossroads of South Asia and the Middle East, it plays a key role in international trade, communication, and military strategy. A stronger alliance with China may contribute to expanding Chinese influence globally, potentially challenging US dominance. Conversely, a realignment with the US could counterbalance China's rising influence. Thus, Pakistan is at the heart of the global power competition narrative. As we dissect Pakistan's global significance, it's essential to examine the multiple crises converging within its borders, all intricately linked to its colonial and post-colonial past. These crises, interlinked and mutually exacerbating, spell a challenging scenario for the nation. Key among these issues is the ongoing energy crisis. Chronic power shortages resulting from long-term mismanagement and inadequate sustainable energy investment have crippled sectors across the economy by 2023. Simultaneously, a severe economic crisis persists. High inflation, dwindling rupee value, and a growing trade deficit reveal traces of the post-colonial era's corruption, poor governance, and foreign aid reliance. The country also struggles with terrorism, both internal and external, intensifying political instability. This menace, fueled by regional tensions and global conflicts, is deeply rooted in historical issues, particularly those arising from the partition of India. Another significant crisis that unfolded recently is the political turmoil following the arrest of former Prime Minister Imran Khan on corruption charges. This incident catalyzed widespread protests, prompting the deployment of military forces throughout the country. This political instability is not just a domestic issue, but a global concern, given the country's links to terrorism and nuclear proliferation. Finally, persistent political instability, characterized by an unstable civilian-military dynamic, further amplifies the economic and social crises, creating a seemingly inescapable cycle. Thus, Pakistan's current dilemmas, intertwined and historically rooted, have far-reaching global implications. The crisis that engulfs Pakistan reverberates far beyond its borders, with serious implications for both global security and the international economy. As the strife continues to unfold, it's imperative to understand its potential to disrupt the world order. In terms of security, the ramifications are especially alarming. Pakistan, a nuclear-armed state, is plagued by political instability. This troubling combination raises legitimate concerns about the potential for a power vacuum, which could be exploited by extremist factions. Given the scale and capacity of Pakistan's nuclear arsenal, this instability could threaten not just regional, but also global security. There's a palpable fear that the country's nuclear weapons might fall into the wrong hands, thus escalating the threat of nuclear terrorism and jeopardizing global peace. Being a crucial trading partner for several countries, Pakistan's economic downturn could have a dampening effect on global trade, possibly leading to an economic slowdown on a larger scale. Given the interconnected nature of today's global economy, an economic crisis in one country can quickly spill over into other nations, causing widespread disruption. Moreover, Pakistan's economic woes could also exacerbate global oil prices. As a significant importer of oil, a drop in demand from Pakistan could potentially disrupt the oil markets, leading to an increase in global oil prices. For oil-exporting nations, this could result in decreased revenue, while oil-importing countries could face higher costs, thereby adding to the economic burden. Projected onto the world stage, the crisis in Pakistan stands as a stark reminder of the interconnected nature of our global society. The issues it faces are not confined within its borders, but have the potential to disrupt global peace and economic stability.